sunrise. But that means we're late. Hey, Bog, we're late. Next time we gotta wake up earlier. We're going fishing. Got some blue shoes to match blue balls.
Nice.
On the fall. That's a big one, dude. Yo, underspin, dude. I love this Scottsboro underspin. If that's another largemouth, oh my god. That's another big largemouth, dude. There's a whole school of largemouth down there. Dude, look at that thing. Get in here. Oh, dude, what a beaut. How about it, boys? Oh, the Whackmeister is on. So I already burned through my Kitech on my Scottsboro underspin, so I'm gonna show you guys how to rig it. This is that new color. It's that green gizzard shad. It's Pro Green Red Pearl. Kind of a blend of some of the best colors. So I got my underspin. It has that screw lock on there. I'm gonna find where the hook comes out, right about there. This is a 2.8 Kitech, but you can also use a 3.3. And I usually just follow that hook guide and get it in there straight. Try to be as straight as possible. And if it's a laminated color, do it right where the laminate meets. And then you follow that hook guide and just pop it out, slide it up. Won't be perfectly even, but that's where the screw lock comes into play. You just wrap that tail just like that, and you have a beautiful underspin presentation. Get. Goose. Oh, it's a big speck. Oh, we got dinner, right? I don't think that's very big. Oh, there it is. It's just another solid one. Not a giant though, but he kind of took the slack out of it. That's a good one, actually. 1.5, 2 pounds. Crazy how they're largemouth though. Like usually when you're this far out, it's spots, man. I kind of want to catch some spots too, but the largemouth are on this underspin. There he is. Just had to reline him up. That's another big one. This underspin is golden. And what I'm gonna do is I'll fish these guys with the underspin. Yeah, that's another good largemouth. Fish these guys with the underspin until they stop biting it, and then we'll get out the old Nedster and show them what a Nedster looks like. That's another 2.5, 3 pounder, dude. Oh, this is so awesome. I'm going to dip into my back rods, and I'm gonna get out this guy right here without tripping myself. This is the Buca Burrito. Just show them something bigger. If there's big largemouth down there, they absolutely love this thing. Just like it's a burrito. I mean, who doesn't like a burrito, right? Followed it all the way to the boat. See these guys? They followed that big old swim bait all the way to the boat. I just couldn't get them to close the deal. The way I fish this is I just kind of slow reel it. I fish it a lot like a structure kind of swim bait, and then slow reel it just like that. But then every once in a while, I'll put a little English on it, move it fast, and then kind of like tight line it to the bottom. And usually between the fast reel and that slow fall is when they absolutely crush it. So let me show you what we got in the arsenal for today. It's a lot of needle dick stuff, and I say needle dick because there's big fish in this lake, but a lot of the bait, a lot of what they'll eat when the water gets cold and you get in this winter mode is usually pretty tiny, with the exception being, you know, big swim baits, Alabama rigs, things along those lines. As we get a little later in winter, kind of to that early spring, that super early pre-spawn, things kind of big up a bit. But in winter, your best bite is going tiny, dude. So I got a lot of spinning rods on the deck. Demiki rig. I got a drop shot rig. That's a 1/4 ounce. I got a Ned rig. Usually fish aren't on the bottom, but I always have that for super slow dragging and like rock and brush. I have a 3/8 ounce drop shot. That's for dropping on their heads. And then over here, I have a little more of my active stuff. So this is that new Berkeley, it's like that jigging wrap kind of deal. So it dances around. I got a little Kitech on the back, got a little tailspin. I do have a big Ignite swim baits just in case I see some big suspended fish. Scottsboro underspin, and then a 3/8 ounce ball head with a Kitech. I think Blue Balls likes the blue shoes. What do you think, Bog? Blue shoes, blue balls? So morning bite was pretty good. I probably got to put a new Kitech on that deal, but this was the deal. Scottsboro 3/8, you guys have seen it in the videos. It's an underspin, but let me tell you, it fishes different than your standard like fish head spin or your Mino, your classic underspin. I can fish this a lot faster, and I know it doesn't roll. I don't have to like inch it along the bottom, even though that's kind of what we were doing. If you guys noticed, like my retrieve was, I'd cast it out, you let it get to the bottom, you know, open your bail, spool it down. I got this on 12-pound fluorocarbon, 12-pound red label, but we'll get it down there 20 feet, 25 feet, only 3/8, so it takes just a second. But then what we do is we kind of slow roll it a couple times, 1, 2, 3, get it a little off the bottom, 5, 6 foot, and then we just dead stop our retrieve, not giving slack to like the bait or anything like that. Keep that line taut. What ends up happening, you guys, if you watch the videos a lot, you know I've talked about this a million times, that tight line or pendulum kind of fall. So basically the bait sort of just gradually travels down and sort of pendulums down, and there's something about winter fishing and that tight line penduluming kind of deal with a swim bait, especially a little like Kitech like this, that's absolutely killer. What do we need to do to catch some bass, Bog? Do you even know? Scan for fish? Go chase bait. Yes, chase the bait. I think that's a good idea. I think we got to go use that forward facing and chase them down. So we always talk about finding schools and pods of fish, right? Sometimes they're not like lined up like you see like #pro, you know. Sometimes they look a little more like this, especially when they're relating to bait. See all those fish that are below those bait pods? That's actually a whole school of fish, but they're kind of moving around related to the bait, but it's a whole pod of fish. So sometimes you kind of have to rethink some of the concepts, but it's the same idea, just sort of reimagined. Oh dear. On the underspin. Dropping it straight down. That is a fat spot, dude. He absolutely crushed it too. You gotta get it out of there. How about, I think they stayed under the boat too. We grabbed this is a underspin that my buddy Jacob gave me, and when we were out here for our little tournament deal, he absolutely smoked them on it. So I found some fish, and they're relating to bait, and they're really hard to trigger. So I got out the underspin because they're related to bait, and an underspin is a perfect way to fish for fish relating to bait. But the other trick is they're kind of hard to get down to fast enough because they disappear so fast. So I got the underspin, and it weighs a bit. Oh my God, I might get bit. And there's like so many down there. It's kind of blows my mind. They're not interested though. But it's a good tool, and the other thing that's really cool with an underspin is you can vertically jig it, kind of like I'm doing now. So I can cast it out there and reel it, but then I can also kind of throw it and reel it in and reel it through the bait. That's a big one. Oh God. Bro, this has been a workout. We've been working these fish. Look out, Bog. That's a freaking giant, dude. Come here. Come here. Don't do it. Oh my gosh. Look out, Bog. I don't want you to get hooked, bud. On the dropped or shot her, dude. Well, we finally closed the deal on a big, dude. Let's get this girl released. You are so fat. Come here. How about it? Back you go. And on the dropped or shot her. I'll tell you guys what happened in just a second. Get your butt down there. You know, after a fire morning, it's really gone into a lull. All of a sudden, all this cloud cover, you see, it's almost like a totally different day. It really changed the fish up. And I found these clouds of bait with a few fish under them earlier in the day. Caught a few little spots, thought nothing of it, ran around, didn't catch dick, dude. nothing. And I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong? So I came back to these bait clouds, and all of a sudden these fish started to group up a little bit. They're still super hard to catch, catching them on a Kitech. Then I'm drop shotting to them and kind of looking at them on that forward facing sonar when they come back to the boat if I catch one on a Kitech. But you have to trigger them. Like, it's 2 quick reels or popping the drop shot up. It's a really weird deal. They're just in a very negative mood. So you got to trigger them and kind of get them to go. But we finally caught a big. That feels like a better one. Golly, you got to work hard to get. Oh, that's a good spot. You got to work hard to get these guys to bite. I can't tell you how many fish I've thrown through, dude, just to get this one to bite. That old Kitech's pretty unstoppable, though. Look how fat that guy is, dude. Got him. Uh-oh. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. That's a giant spot, dude. Take your time. Oh, it's a largemouth. I got 52 rods right here. Come here. Come here. Wow, you are all kinds of beat up. Oh, look out, Bog. Look out. You can't get in there. You, sir. Got it, and there's more down there. Nice one. Ran out of swim bait, pulled out the drop shot. Watched him pop up. Not how I thought I'd be catching them right now, to be honest with you. It's so cloudy, you'd think they'd be all fired up to eat a swim bait, but that right there is a solid freaking spot, dude. But I'm being forced to kind of activate them and pop that drop shot up. God, there's so many down there right now. Well, we gotta get a bait. He's got this little Kitech minnow, and I'm just drop shotting with a 3/8, and I'm catching some on a Kitech swim bait and some on this little drop shot bait. It's almost like they come to the boat when I catch them on a swim bait, and then I drop to them for a minute and catch a few more, and then I got to kind of reset and do it all over again. Yes, you are. Whoa. Just out of the trolling motor. Wasn't expecting you, homie. That's a good spot. I watched this fish chase my bait up, and it goes to show you always should, especially a forward-facing sonar, just pause for a second while you're reeling up, because sometimes, especially when they're chasing bait, they just chase your... Homies and homettes, we had a really interesting day. It went from absolute craziness this morning, just fish after fish. I didn't even get a few on video. I was fishing so fast. And the hot ticket in the morning was, we were basically on like a little roadbed, like an edge of a roadbed, and in winter these fish suspend, or they get on like a break, a very vertical break, and that's what that was. It was a very vertical break. So I reeled this underspin. This is that Scottsboro underspin, 3/8 ounce, 12-pound fluorocarbon, Halo TI, and a 721 SLX. Got a little 2.8 Kitech. You can see it's all tore up. Basically, I would throw out there, try not to get hung on that break, and just reel over it. And when I'd get right over that break, I'd just stop, dude. And that bait would pendulum down, and they would absolutely smoke it, dude. We missed a few bites. I'd love to get back. But after that, we had like a 4 or 5 hour lull, dude. Like nothing happened. Bog was pissed. I was pissed. And I couldn't find fish. I couldn't see them on the graph. And I think part of it was there's a lot of bait that's kind of moving up. We're having a really warm day, even though it's getting kind of cloudy and nasty. The bait kind of rose to the top. And what ends up happening is there's so much bait spread out everywhere that those fish just move with the bait. And it's really hard to identify where they're at. And they don't get on your classic structures, your points, your little humps, and that, because they're so elevated and they're being very forage oriented and moving with that bait. But what happened is later in the day, and it usually does happen in winter, they'll kind of pot up. They'll finally kind of get straight, if you will, and kind of get juicy and pot up on some of that bait. And the key then was the bait kind of balled up and these fish got under it. I could see them on the forward-facing sonar. Basically, I would take this Kitech that's a 3/8 ball head, that's Scottsboro Hellfire, a lot of Scottsboro stuff today, 2.8 Kitech again, same setup actually, 12-pound fluorocarbon SLX 721. And what I'd do is I'd make long casts at nothing but bait. I'd look for that bait ball, make a long cast, slow roll it, and then put a little English on it from time to time. And what was really weird is those fish were so keyed into like the real thing, you know, everybody loves the real thing, right? That I had actually triggered them to get them to bite the fake thing. And that quick reel kind of did it. And what ended up happening, and it was a lot of spots too, so they're super curious. Other spots, when you'd catch one, would come to the boat, and then they wouldn't be out there anymore. They'd be right under the boat. So I'd use my forward-facing sonar or my 2D that looks straight down. I'd take a drop shot, a 3/8 ounce. You guys have seen it a lot in the videos. I've been getting pretty good at dropping on these fish, and they come to the boat, so they're active. They want to know what's going on, and you drop right to them, and shebang, dude. Couple shakes. If nothing happens, you go back to your process. But it was kind of a cool 1-2 punch later in the day to close out and actually catch an absolute giant and catch a few chunks. If we're fishing a tournament, those extra bites late in the day would have really helped. But it was a cool video. Bog is cold. I'm getting cold. We're gonna wrap this thing up. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'll put links to everything that we talked about, everything that we fished at Tackle Warehouse down in the description box. Thank you guys for supporting the videos. We out.